doubt.
Right. And that's another angle that I am willing to accept because it is the truth. But here we go. Michelle joined the stage. Go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, I couldn't resist because every time Jimmy says, Jimmy, you know, I love you as a person, but every time you say we must wait and see and just it's that thinking of just trust the plan. My personal feeling on it is I feel like I've seen enough from
Right.
Trump. Okay, because like I'm not gonna lie, I did vote for him in 2020. Okay, and I saw what happened in 2020. I mean, anyone who had eyes to see saw that Trump. We're not supposed to say it, but you know what we saw. Okay, I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
cause problems for your channel,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
go ahead.
we saw what
Hold
we
on a
saw.
second. Are you talking about J6?
Not just that. No, we saw like behind the scenes what was happening with the election.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that the same person you believe won during that round, and instead they put a guy with dementia on the world
Right.
stage. Okay.
Right.
Which also tells me that they think we're so stupid that they can
Mm-hmm.
put a man with like brain problems on the world stage and we're supposed to believe that he's running the free world.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, right there was like right there. It was like so clear as day that the president is a puppet. Okay. And then you fast forward to now and he's working with the likes of Larry Ellison and these AI governance people that Elon want to push AI. So I believe all this stuff that we're seeing on the world stage is to push the new AI world. Okay, where
Mm-hmm.
everything is going to be governed. That's also why they got rid of the federal workers. I'm not saying that sometimes there's too many workers and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is they're getting rid of humans to replace with AI. And we should all be concerned about this. And Trump is ushering this in at like warp speed. No pun intended. So
Okay.
that's my feeling is that he is
Mm-hmm.
literally in cahoots with all of them.
I have a counterpoint to what the last
Go
point, Michelle. I really
go
like
ahead,
what she.
Jesse. You got 3 minutes to counter. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, her. No, I'm not going to counter it because I agree with her in a lot of. But let me
Oh,
just
okay.
work on AI. Let me just work on AI.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of people I've heard are against Donald Trump working with the AI. But let me tell you something. It's like the atomic bomb. It's like the nuclear weapons. Whether you don't like them or not, it's a matter of reality. You have to live in the virtual world. You have to live in the real world. And AI, imagine an AI, artificial intelligent dog soldier in your
Mm-hmm.
town, and he's programmed to kill everybody. No human will be able to stop him. Now imagine a drone army of AI robots.
Mm-hmm.
It will wipe out humanity as we know it. We have no choice, no matter if we like it or not. We're going to have to go down the AI road. We have to. It will kill us if we don't.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever controls AI is going to dominate the world. So
Right.
Donald Trump has to navigate a real thin line. And he
Mm-hmm.
just so happens to be the bravest American who took a couple bullets more than us. So his voice carries more weight than you and I. That's just a matter of fact. And he knows that artificial intelligence is deadly. Like Michelle says, I agree with her. I agree with her.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to embrace this technology and use it for good because the forces of evil want it also.
But that's like saying I have to embrace evil to counteract evil. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that because I know in my
Then you're
heart
dead. You're dead,
down
Michelle.
but I know down the road this is going to lead all of humanity down a really bad path.
Yes, but you're dead if you don't embrace it. It's called
And
detente. It's called detente.
mm-hmm. No, I
Well,
understand Jesse's point and Michelle's point. That still doesn't mean that we have to go along with it. Number one, we should be rejecting, we should be protesting, we should be giving our grievances out there. And if Jesse is like how Gigi says, even if he's 10% right, even if you are right that we have to go down that road and accept the reality of where we're going, because that's just where we're going, why does Trump's voice, like you said, is stronger, bigger than ours? Why is his voice bought and paid for by pro-Israel APAC? That's my thing. Why can't he be not have any affiliation with none of that? Why accept their money?
Well,
Why
I have
start pushing
because
these bills that
presidents
are
are puppets.
pro-Israel?
They're all bought and paid. That's
Exactly.
why. That's
And that's
why.
why I agree with both of you guys, is because even though I can acknowledge that, yeah, you might think that they're puppets and they have a role to play, like Jimmy says, everybody has a role to play. We're watching a movie, we're gonna watch it play out, right? My
It's
problem
definitely a
is
movie.
influence that money has in our politicians' voices and their votes.
Okay, so I just want to bring out one fact. How many politicians have gone into office making $174,000 a year or $200,000 a year? How many of them are now worth millions and billions of dollars?
Exactly, many of them.
Okay, how many presidents have we had that when they left office, they had more money than they began with?
I get where you're going with this, Jimmy, but I feel like
Hold on.
Trump.
I'm just
Trump
saying.
Go ahead.
Trump
Go
is
ahead.
doing pretty well as it is as a
For the
president.
sake of the audience,
Yes. Go ahead.
most every one of them has made more money once they've left office, or they were worth more after they left office than they were when they went in. Trump is the only one that lost money when he was in office his first term. When he came out, he was worth less than what he went in for.
In his personal finances, right?
So my question is, if he's bought and paid for, how did he take a loss?
How do you know
because
that,
he
though?
took their money to
How
begin
do I
with.
But how do you know? Do you have Trump's financials? I mean, and even if you do, how do you know they're not lying about it?
Because they went and asked for his taxes.
But how do you know that's all legit, is what I'm saying?
Because it's court filings.
And the court never lies.
It's the Democrats gave up on talking about his taxes because they knew they had nothing there.
I'm just saying, if we know they lie on one side, we know they lie on the other side, you don't know what is really going on. That's all I'm saying.
And it is supposed to be a trusted source because it's coming from the court.
Again, Ruby's showing this thing up on the screen right now. How do we know that's 100% fact? By the way you're presenting it, Michelle. We were presented with the fact that Trump lost money in his first term. Okay, so
if you're going to deals with people on the side, like Pfizer and things like that, you don't think he made any money?
My question is, or my thought process on this is if you're not going to believe that he lost money, then how can you believe the truth about what Ruby put up?
Yeah, and look, in line with what Michelle is saying about not believing, I'm with her. She's got the spirit.
I get it. But look at what Spyro said. This is a great comment. But look what Spyro said. It's like, then how do you know anything is legit? This line of logic doesn't make sense because then nothing is true. And we do struggle with that because it's like if the courts are saying one thing and then Jimmy is pointing out that he did lose money and that's his personal finances, right?
Yes.
What my thing is despite that may be true, he's still taking money from places like AIPAC. So how can you deny that he's not bought and paid for?
Well, let me answer that. Michelle has a healthy skepticism. We should all have that. I think Jimmy has.
I agree with that.
I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking Thomas Massie and Donald Trump are not fighting. It could be fake, like the Elon Musk Rubio. It could be a head fake. Here's another thing. Donald Trump, you think Donald Trump likes Benjamin Netanyahu? I served as an elder of Jehovah's Witnesses for 14 years. And I'll tell you this, everybody I served with hates each other. The elders hated each other. They go knock on the door. They hate each other. All of them. And then the white brothers in the English congregation hate the Spanish, and there's jealousy. There's just a lot of hate. A lot of times politicians vote against their party line to keep the debate open. So there's a lot of things. But I think the spirit that Michelle has of healthy skepticism, I'm with you. Because it doesn't make sense how Thomas Massie's committing suicide wanting to get primaried here. So there has to be more than meets the eye. It could be a staged fight.
Yeah, and that's why I don't get so wrapped up in these things, when they hit the news like this, because I'm like, I've been at this crap for 5 years. Right. And I've seen the same time. It could be a different circumstance or a different story, but it's always the same. Something else comes out later and we're like, oh, that's why that happened.
And I do understand that I can have that kind of a response to something like that, just like you would. But this is something that I can't do that because it goes literally against us as Americans and our free speech. Like this meme right here, arrest pedophiles on the Epstein list. And then the next one says arrest campus students for anti-Semitism, because that's exactly what that bill says. So why would Trump sign something like that if he was really about America first and about our freedom of speech? So those two things do not make sense.
Well, those people,
go ahead, Michelle.
from what I'm understanding on this is these people that are protesting, they are pro-Hamas people. Most of them are illegals. They're not even students, and half these people that show up at these protests are not even students of those schools. And so what they are doing is they are interfering with the students, whether they are Jewish, white, black, whatever. They're interfering with those students' right to an education, right to move about freely on the campus, and everything like that. And so I think that is the reason why this has all been done, geared towards these protests at these colleges.
Yeah, but what about the anti-free speech laws that Trump is pushing and the Noahide laws? I don't know if you've looked in the Noahide laws, but everybody, I'm not Christian, but it's gonna it's gonna affect everyone. Just because it affects Christians, it'll affect everybody down the road. You got to research this stuff. There's sneaky stuff going on behind the scenes with Trump.
And this is what I've said before. As of right now, I'm not concerned. I keep up with everything and I watch everything, but Trump hasn't flipped that switch for me yet. But if he does, I will be one of the first people to say, holy crap, he needs to be held accountable, and justice needs to be served on him too.
But it infringes on our First Amendment right. That should be a thing that really bothers you if you do really care about American values, because what he's doing is censoring us. Like I told you last week, I don't care if I'm on a campus or not on a campus. We have freedom of speech to criticize any country on the world, even our own. They even burn the American flag, and they don't enforce that. But if you burn an Israeli flag, you go into jail.
So what right does an illegal alien who is not even a member of the school, what right do they have to go on a campus and start taking over buildings?
I agree with that. They do not have any right. I'm talking about American citizens.
We're talking about laws, Jimmy. We're talking about laws, American laws that they're putting into effect.
Where has my free speech been attacked so far?
Trump, look into it. 2019 and recently, he's been doing it. Anti-Semitic, anti-free speech laws.
And Trump is not the only one either, because Ron DeSantis actually signed those bills in Florida.
They're all doing it.
Exactly. So this is what I'm trying to help folks that watch this realize, that from right under your noses, these bills are getting passed. And even with DeSantis, same thing with him. I completely disagreed with those laws. And it does infringe on our freedom of speech. And that's all I'm saying. I'm letting everybody know that this is my stance on that. And I'm going to always say when Trump is wrong. Go ahead, Jesse.
Yeah. After you, Jesse, I want to say something too.
Yes. I just wanted to say about the IPAC. First of all, I like to not follow the Jews because you always end up in a fight. Like Gilbert says, anytime the word Jehovah comes up, boom, I don't know what it is.
Then we fight.
Okay. But what I want to say about IPAC and Donald Trump is that, remember when Donald Trump was criticized for giving money to Hillary Clinton, George Bush, he gave money to both sides, and he goes, I'm a businessman.
Yeah.
If you look at today's negotiations, they were in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia hosted. If he really was a puppet of Benjamin Netanyahu, and it's known all over the internet, you can look it up. Donald Trump does not like Benjamin Netanyahu. No. They're like the two elders that have to kiss at the meeting, but they hate each other. He called him a traitor and a backstabber.
Right.
Here's another thing. A lot of the Arab nations embrace Donald Trump. A lot of the Chinese people embrace Donald Trump. A lot of the Russian people embrace Donald Trump. So you have, when you're in a Confederate country, you have to whistle Dixie. And when you're up north, you have to sing the battle hymn of the Republic.
I understandable. I get that. Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, there's two things I want to say, and then I'm going to get off. This has been fun, but there's two things. Are you guys familiar with the YouTuber Anomaly?
Yes.
Okay. So Anomaly, he I may not agree with everything he says, but one thing I can give him credit for is research. And there's two things that he has dug into that I think everyone should look into. One, the Epstein files. Why Trump is like so involved with all the people on Trump. There's like a lot on his cabinet, like Pam Bondi, and there's certain individuals that do have connections to Epstein, all right? And for some reason, Trump always has swamp creatures. So the first time around, he had swamp creatures. Everybody made excuses for it. Oh, it's his first time in term. He doesn't know any better. Second term, he still has swamp creatures, okay? And these people, like I said, they're connected to Epstein. Check Anomaly's video. He does research on it. He look into that. And then the other thing he did research on from, I think, a couple years ago was Pfizer and Trump's connection. He did a video about how Trump has been getting money, has gotten money, just like with AIPAC. He got money. That's why he's become a vaccine salesman. Why do you think he pushes them so much? Even though he doesn't mandate it, it's regardless. That doesn't matter to me. The guy has these followers, like, and I've said this, with TDS on both sides. And I mean by TDS, I mean they worship Trump. Okay, so he knows this, and he has he's been telling people to get vaccinated. Oh, he did it. I did it. He went out and said it, and he knew his followers would do it. And I have a huge problem with him even promoting it. So why is he promoting it? I think he's getting paid. So I think everybody listening right now should go and really look into and follow the money and see what's really going on, because I'm sorry to say this. I wanted Trump to be a good guy. I was with everybody back in 2020, but after the things I've seen, I just don't think he's it. And I believe now more than ever, both sides are the same, and they're trying to just pin us against each other, and that's all it's about.
Wow. Thank you, Michelle. Round of applause.
Yeah,
That was very sad. I put Anomaly's YouTube channel up if anybody is interested in his work. He is really good. He makes great content. I also love Candace Owens
yes.
and other freelancers like those.
Yes, thank you for letting me speak, Ruby. I just wanted to jump on real quick and say that, and I was on your side, and I felt like, it was Jimmy and Jesse, and I just wanted to let you know I was hearing you and I was agreeing with you.
No,
Okay,
yes,
guys.
thank you. Thank you.
Take care, you guys. Thanks again.
All
Yeah,
right. See you
see,
soon.
my